How's everybody doing out there? Welcome to Amargão Futebol Daily. We're going to have this is a new show. We're going to try to be on here every day at 1 o'clock. And, it's going to be me and sometimes Amadeus. And we have a new person coming into Capital Sports Network. You want to introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Paul. I'm part from the Sporting Pedia team. And as you can see, I'm a Real Madrid fan.
What's the hat? I see. Is that a Lakers hat? Oh,
Lakers.
Yeah. Basically on the intro, it's going to be mostly football, but because the NBA playoffs and the end of the season is coming up here soon, and the playoffs are, about 3 months long, we're probably going to talk a little bit, some basketball as well. So, but today, obviously, as you have the Real Madrid shirt on, a huge game today for Madrid. I think last year they won so many trophies, and the Champions League and La Liga and the FIFA Club World Cup and the Super Cup and all this stuff. This year's been a little bit different because I think they've had some injuries and been a little bit banged up and everything. So this is basically their last chance to win a trophy. How do you feel going into today?
Last chance? Sorry, but what do you mean? This is just some Spanish Cup, and there are Champions League games with Chelsea ahead.
That's right.
So I think there is a good chance of a double.
This game today, they're down 1-0 after the first leg. The Classico the other day, it was a weird game. I thought, they had it pulled even. Asensio, or they actually took the lead, Asensio, and then they called it back, and then Barcelona scored late. But I feel like Barcelona, I think they're being overhyped a little bit, and I think the problems at Real Madrid are kind of being overhyped as well. I think these teams are pretty even coming in. I don't know how you think about it.
Yeah, I think on paper everything is 50-50, but Real are best with their backs to the wall. As we saw last year, they turned around so many games that they looked impossible, but I expect this game to go even till halftime, and then Real start pushing in the second half.
I actually I like Madrid here. I gave it out as one of my plays and on one of the other shows. I actually really do. I think they'll find. I don't know about the tie because Madrid could win by 1 and goes to extra time and all this stuff. So I don't know what's going to happen. I think Madrid wins the game in 90 minutes. I think they find a way. Like you said, last year against PSG, they were down and they scored late, 3-1 and
against everyone. Against
Chelsea.
PSG,
I was at the Chelsea Real Madrid match at the Bernabeu, and City. I mean, down late in it.
But anything can happen. Barca can score three goals in 10 minutes.
It's weird. I was in Camp Nou and saw Manchester United beat or draw Barcelona in the first leg, and then they won the second leg to go through. So I wasn't super. I mean, they're very good. I think they're missing some players as well, but I wasn't super impressed. I still think Madrid is the better team here, and I think sometimes when you get those results, and now that the league is over, now they kind of just, I think the focus reshifts to these, this game and the game obviously next week. So I think it could be an interesting game here.
Well, their focus is definitely on the cup competitions, and Carlo Ancelotti is their coach.
Yeah, and if they
the most decorated in the Champions League, and
I think it's funny that they're trying to find the next coach, but if he goes on and wins the Champions League and the Copa del Rey, I don't know that he's going to leave 2 straight Champions League.
They just cannot reach the next level. I think he'll go to Brazil.
Yeah, it seems like it because
it's something new. He has conquered everything in Europe and with Real and with Milan, and this will be some new adventure and definitely going for the World Cup. Brazil are struggling lately.
Who
the World Cup?
Who would be your preference to be a coach to come in for Real Madrid?
Well, like a couple of months ago, I looked for the odds of Rowe being the next coach. I can tell you in European format, it was like 250.
Okay.
So I think he's there. I don't think Perez will go for all these 3 coaches, Nagelsmann now, and definitely not Luis Enrique, not Pochettino.
I think those guys. I think they'll probably I think Enrique might. He's in London today to talk to Chelsea.
Yeah.
I think Nagelsmann will go to Tottenham. I think maybe, and I think they want to try the Premier League. And Pochettino, who knows? PSG job will be open, but that club is a disaster.
Appointing Zidane from the B team to take over the first team was paid out like amazing.
It's the club. Like, these guys know, like, that's the thing. I mean, when you bring in these guys, when you bring the B team guys in, they already know the club. They know the players that are coming through. They know the academy. They know what they have to, they know what they have to buy. They know what they need to get rid of. They know all this stuff. I think, that's always a plus, to be honest, if you can do that.
Yeah, and he was captain of this team for so many years. He's a club legend.
There's 2 huge games. I don't know how much you follow the Premier League, but
let me just tell you one last thing about the Clásico.
Okay.
Barcelona has conceded at home more than a goal only twice this season, both times in the Champions League in Europe. Sorry.
Yes.
Once to United and once to Inter. But yeah, so I'm pretty sure Real will score more than a goal, but I cannot say what Barca will do. So
I think it's going to be. I think it's an interesting match. If there's an early goal, it's one of these games that where maybe there's an early goal, all of a sudden it changes everything. If obviously Barcelona scores it, Real Madrid's got to go for it at that point. If Real Madrid scores early, maybe Barcelona's got to kind of go for it because they all of a sudden the momentum will be with Madrid. Like you said, if it gets to halftime at 0-0, it'll be interesting in the second half.
Second half, the first can end 0-0, and the second can be like 4, 5, 6 goals.
Yeah, that's it. There's been a few games like that this year. It's pretty interesting. In the Premier League tonight, there's 2 matches, and right now, Arsenal 8 points clear of Manchester City, and Manchester City's 14 points clear of the 3 teams. But right now, there's 3, 4, and 5 are all on 50 points. And Tottenham has played 2 more games than both Newcastle and Manchester United. And both those teams are in action today. These games are makeups from when they're when the Queen died and they had to postpone the matches.
Yeah, I saw like from the 7th round or.
Yeah, I think it's much from when the Queen died and they had to move the security and stuff, so they canceled a lot of matches. So these games have been on the docket for a while, and they're interesting games because
actually it's only West Ham Newcastle from that early, and United are 20 postponed from the 25th round.
Okay, from the FA Cup, yeah. So Manchester United lost to Brentford early in the season. It was kind of one of those stunning losses, and then Casemiro kind of came in and changed everything around. He's going to be out again. Brentford's, there was 3-3 on the weekend. They played really well. West Ham West Ham won to kind of, the bottom of the table is just chaos. I mean, West Ham won and went from 18th to 14th to now they're in 15th. They're on 27 points in 15th, but they have the same amount of points as Bournemouth has in 18th. So that's the relegation zone. So West Ham is at home against Newcastle. Newcastle just beat Manchester United the other day, and Manchester United is at home against Brentford, and then they play Everton again. So Manchester United will play twice before Tottenham gets a chance to get back on the pitch. So, and then Tottenham plays Brighton this weekend. So 2 huge games. And I don't know how many times or how many games you kind of watch. I mean, these are tough games to call. I think West Ham has been terrible, but they're unbeaten in the Conference League. They're rolling through the Conference League, and really they're the favorites to win it. They should win it. I mean, they have a lot of talent. Newcastle, they're pretty talented as well. Brentford is a good team. I mean, do you have any thoughts on those 2 games today?
Yeah, I watched West Ham pretty much last season.
Yeah,
and they kept the squad and added Paqueta, like Brazilian international, pretty impressive. But they're struggling. They're experiencing the European tournament syndrome. They're good there in Europe, but struggling on the domestic front.
Yeah, I think. The thing I compare it to is it was maybe a decade ago. Newcastle finished 5th, and they went into, I think it was 2012. They went into the Europa League, and they did really well. I think they made deep into the quarterfinals.
But
and then, in the league, they were terrible. They finished like 16th or 17th. They just about stayed up on the second to last. I think this West Ham team is too good to get relegated, but you just don't know. I mean, if they keep losing games, and they could be playing, they could win a European Cup and be in the championship. So, it's a tough game. Newcastle obviously is flying, but I think there's a natural kind of come down after they won that game on Sunday to get back up, to travel to London and to get back up and against a team that's going to be a really, really tough game. It's going to be probably like, 1-0 or, the under 2.5 goals is 155.
I think this game will be decided by the personal class by one player.
Yeah. It could be
whoever's having, not by a team effort, because the teams I see them equal. West Ham will be desperate for the points because they really need them.
I agree. Yep. And then, Manchester United, Brentford, I just don't, I think Anthony Martial's back. They're really close. They'll have, after Saturday, they'll have Casemiro back. They'll have Christian Eriksen back. He's targeting next week. Obviously they have the European match next week, and then they have, a big game on the weekend. They play Everton this weekend, and they play Nottingham Forest next weekend. But I just don't know. This Brentford team is pretty good, and they're still, they're in ninth, but with a win today would move up to 7th.
Tony.
Yeah, no, he's been really good. I mean, look, Brentford. Here's all you have to say about Brentford right now. They're even on points with Liverpool, and they're 4 points ahead of Chelsea with a game in hand on Chelsea. So, they've been unbelievable. Brighton and Brentford on the weekend. I mean, unbelievable game.
Yes.
And the teams, they're really fun to watch. It's a tough game for Manchester United coming up. I would imagine there's going to be a response after the weekend.
United are having a favorable schedule, fixtures ahead of them.
Yeah, Nottingham. Yeah, they people are kind of worried about them. They're like, they're 5th. I mean, they're 5th on goal difference, but they have 2 games in hand on Tottenham. and they have a decent. Newcastle has to play Tottenham yet. Tottenham has to play Manchester United yet. Manchester United has a lot of games they should be able to win, but they're in the FA Cup semifinals on the 23rd. They're in Europe. If they win Europe, it doesn't really matter where they finish, to be honest. I mean, you want to finish top 4. I'd like them to finish 3rd, but if
Why?
they
Wait. There's no difference between top 4.
Yeah, and 3rd, 4th, 5th. It doesn't. 3rd and 4th doesn't matter.
If you win, if United, sorry, I say you, like a United fan. If United win Europa League, they automatically qualify for the Champions League. So
yeah, I think if they win, they already won the Carabao Cup. If they won the Europa League, which also gives them a chance to play in the Super Cup, which I think is important because, you get a chance, that's a tough game, but still you get a chance to win a trophy again in August. It's actually on my birthday, and it's in Greece, Piraeus, I think. But if they finish 3rd and win 2 trophies, I think there's, 3rd, 4th, you're right, it doesn't really matter. I just think if you're
playing the Champions League for teams with such a huge caliber, if the only thing what matters is they are behind City.
Yeah, winning
if
trophies.
If they are not champions, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, if they play in the Champions League.
Yeah, and the good, the thing they've beaten City once, and there's a possibility they play in the final. Although the semifinal against Brighton is going to be really tough. Brighton is very good. So Brighton's right there pushing those other teams. I think they just need to get some momentum going, put some wins together, string some wins together going into Europe and going into these games. You don't want to be going into this Sevilla game, some losses and draws. Just try to get healthy and try to put some wins together.
If Ten Hag manages to keep, and it's not only to him, if he's lucky to have a healthy squad, full healthy squad, they are absolutely capable of going for both cups and finishing 3rd.
Yeah,
I think they have the players.
They need,
and they have the coach.
They need Eriksen back. They need Martial back. They need Casemiro back in the lineup, not get red cards. They just need to with all these. If they have everybody at their disposal, I think they'll be fine. And people are kind of panicking now, but they're going to have all these players back. So, and then, the other thing, your Lakers have a massive game tonight,
no,
huh?
No. They are not my Lakers. It just happens so that I have ahead of them. I'm a Warrior.
Oh, okay. It's an interesting game tonight because they're obviously playing at home against the Clippers, but the Clippers are right ahead of them, so that's pretty interesting. The Warriors, the defending champions. I think the Warriors will probably be fine once the playoffs come around.
The game in a way is will get all the headlines.
Yeah.
The Lakers are on the brink. They and the Clippers have won each of the last 10 games. So,
wow. Did you look at you have any interest in this? By the way, the winner of Barcelona Real Madrid will play Osasuna, who stunned Bilbao with a goal in the 116th minute yesterday to go through on aggregate and extra time. The Coppa Italia semifinals, Juventus and Inter tied 1-1, 100 red cards, red cards all over the place. Oh, everything going on. Today, in the other game, it's Cremonese and Fiorentina, not the huge marquee matchup, but this Fiorentina team is pretty good. Have you been following the Italian, the league, and Napoli's running away with the league? But have you been following this at all?
Yeah. I follow all. I just don't watch. I cannot watch all the games, but I am pretty familiar with what happens everywhere. So
which games are you? Can you watch? Which games are you? Can you watch? With your? I don't know. Do you have streaming services or?
like whatever I want.
Okay. You're just busy.
Only in NBA. Sometimes I cannot even watch.
Okay.
But football.
There's also, I was just going down the list today too. The in Holland, KNVB Becker semifinals. Yesterday, Eindhoven beat Spakenburg. I don't even know what league that is. Third,
Yeah,
I think
lower division.
Yeah, I think they're third division. I don't think they're second division. And then today is a huge one, Feyenoord and Ajax. I mean, those two teams don't really like each other much, and they're pretty. I think it's 1-2 in the table, obviously in the cup. So the top two teams in the league playing in the cup right now. Feyenoord right now has an 8-point lead, and they play. Let me see, 7 more games. So they probably Feyenoord's only lost one match. Feyenoord, by the way, is in this Europa League. Not a lot of people are kind of not giving them a lot of chance against Roma and chance to do much. But this team is really good. They score goals. I think it's interesting. You have any thoughts on that game today against Ajax? The season hasn't been great. Already on their third manager after they had an interim manager, but they hired. They're playing much better. They only have 3 losses with a plus 44 goal difference. But I think they'll probably want to maybe win a trophy here somewhere, right?
Well, everyone will want to win the trophy, but
it's tough.
I cannot say in Holland, but my preferences are with Feyenoord, and especially in Europe, because I remember, but like 20 years ago, they were in the final and they had one player, Pierre van Hooijdonk. He made the final like spectacular. So I remember Feyenoord from long time ago, like Ajax.
Okay.
Let them win some trophies.
Yeah.
Because Ajax are dominating and PSV as well. So
it's interesting too, because just kind of looking ahead to the end of the week. Friday, Good Friday, ahead of Easter. The 3 Italian teams that are playing in the Champions League: Inter, Napoli, AC Milan, which is crazy to say because the right now, we I posted that story about the Italian managers and the Italian what these teams are doing from Italy right now from Sportingpedia and it's just impressive. There's probably going to be an Italian, Benfica notwithstanding, there's a 3 out of 4 chance that there's an Italian team in the final for the first time since 2017. So, and Champions League final, that is. They all play on Friday. The championship all plays on Friday, and I think they play again, Monday in England. Porto and Benfica play in the Premier League. Benfica right now is I've been to a lot of games in Portugal. Benfica has a 10-point lead with 8 games to play, but they only have 1 loss, and I think they're a dangerous team. That Benfica Inter tie is dead even with the odds that they're both at minus 115 to advance. I think that could be.
Sorry to interrupt you, but Inter played with Porto the previous round in the Champions League.
That's right. Yeah. And it was, there was nothing between them. It was, 1-0-0-0. And it was just like, there was really, really nothing between them. They're dead even. I think this Benfica team sold Enzo Fernandez. And still, they're really good.
They will find someone else.
Yeah,
they always do. The Portuguese teams, they always do.
Always. I hope Sporting. I'm conflicted because if Sporting if Manchester United beats Sevilla and Sporting beats Juventus, my friend, he's a Padre in Lisbon. He lives about 5 minutes from the Sporting ground, so we'll be going to that. But I've never been to Turin, so I'd like to go. Manchester United's got to win the tie first, obviously. But I think there's a lot of, and then obviously next week there's all the European. I think there's so much. It's a good time. It's a really good time to start the show, to be honest, because there's all kinds of stuff going on here. Which obviously, as a Madrid fan, I'm sure you're probably excited about those games next week, the Champions League games, and specifically with Real Madrid. Is that probably your favorite competition here coming up?
I've watched it for so long. Well, only Real Madrid fans have seen so many trophies, so I only hope to be as exciting as the previous year.
Last year, the Chelsea. I think with the 4 ties, and it's not just the Champions League, but the 4 ties in the Champions League, Benfica and Inter. I think there's really kind of nothing between them. They're very good. Manchester City, Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich just fired their coach, sacked their coach. Manchester City, who knows with them? Pep sometimes overthinks stuff. AC Milan, Napoli. Everyone was on Napoli, and then AC Milan just absolutely smoked Napoli 4-0 the other day in the league, and Real Madrid, Chelsea. So 4 really good ties in the Europa League: Feyenoord, Roma, Leverkusen, USG, Union Saint-Gilloise.
Yeah, during midweek gonna be.
Yeah. So we're gonna we picked a good time to start this the podcast here. So tomorrow we're gonna be joined. Amadeus will come in. I'm probably gonna be on right around showtime for everybody, but we'll have But Paul's going to be here every day, and we're going to go, and we're going to maybe try to even look and expand some stuff. So, just new broadcasting here, and of today, obviously, the big game. Tomorrow is not the biggest day, but there's a lot of South American games, Copa Libertadores, Copa Sudamericana, which Amadeus is a master at. He's an expert on Brazilian football. So tomorrow will be a good day for that. There's a lot of those. So, and then I just saw, where did I just see that? There's some friendlies tomorrow, and they're the women. I don't know why they're playing friendlies. Who knows? The first game is Bulgaria and Lithuania. 3 a.m., 4 a.m. Yikes. I won't be up for that. No chance. So, yeah, I mean, anything you obviously excited for today? Anything you kind of want to add for today?
Well, nothing specific. If you have something to ask, I'll be happy to answer, but nothing more to add.
Yeah, definitely. We're gonna get the show pumped out. It's on social media all over the place. It's on YouTube. It's everywhere you look. And if you have any questions during the show, please ask them for us. And what we'll do is we'll get them answered, and we'll see what we can do. But so we're going to be here every day from 1 to about 1:30. If we got a lot to talk about, maybe next week there's so many games, maybe we'll be a little bit longer. But we're planning on about a half-hour show, something like that every day. So if you have time, it's 1 o'clock Eastern.
Yeah.
Different times in Australia and Europe and South America and wherever you are. But please, we'll be live, and we'll answer your questions. So.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Good luck today to your team, Real Madrid, and hopefully my team wins as well. And
I'll just open a beer now and pop up in front of the TV.
All right. And we'll be back tomorrow. So I appreciate it, and thank you everyone for watching. We will see you.
Thank you.